You have fought 23 times. You have won 23 times. In Pompeii, they know your name. They chant it before you even enter the arena. Today is number 24. You are not worried. You have never been worried. Worry is for people who are not certain of themselves, and you have been certain of yourself for a very long time. Today will be different. Not because of the man you are fighting, because of something else entirely. Before we begin, this is the story of a gladiator on the day Vesuvius erupted. He had come to Pompeii 3 years ago from the north, a prisoner taken in a border skirmish, sold to the ludus, the gladiatorial school, by men who saw his size and his stillness and understood what those two things together could become. He was trained in the Samnite style, heavy shield, short sword, visored helmet. He was a natural. His trainer said this without pleasure, the way a craftsman notes the quality of a material he did not choose. He had won every fight, not always cleanly, not always quickly, but always. He had the quality that separates the long-surviving gladiators from the rest. He did not panic. When things went wrong in the arena, and things always went wrong eventually, he slowed down rather than speeding up. He thought rather than reacted. And this made him, in the language of the crowd and the bookmakers and the men who organized these events, unbeatable. The crowd loved him for it. The crowd of Pompeii loved him with a particular intensity, the way a city loves a champion who belongs to it, who wins in its arena, who makes it feel briefly larger than it is. In this story, you are him. This is your day, and the mountain is watching. You wake before the call. This is habit. The body sets its own alarm when it knows what is coming. You have slept well, which surprises some people who learn it. The idea that a man can sleep well the night before a fight, but sleep is a skill like any other, and you learned it the way you learned every other skill in this place. Through repetition, through necessity, through understanding, that a body deprived of rest fights at a fraction of itself. You lie still for a moment before rising. The barracks is quiet. Around you other men are sleeping, some deeply, some the shallow, restless sleep of men who have not yet learned what you have learned. You listen to the breathing of the room. You have slept in this room for 3 years, and you know it sounds the way you once knew the sounds of a different room in a different country, before everything changed. You do not think about that country often. There is no use in it. What is there, and what is here, and here is what demands your attention. You rise. The stone floor is cold under your feet. You dress in the dark, the same order every time, the same deliberate movements. Everything in its place, everything prepared. You go to the window and look out at the courtyard. The sky above the barracks wall is still dark, the stars still clear. In a few hours, this courtyard will be noisy with the morning's training. For now, it is empty and still and yours. The morning before, a fight belongs to you in a way no other morning does. The crowds have not arrived yet. The noise has not started. The arena is empty. You are simply a person standing at a window, looking at stars, breathing. This is the part nobody sees. This is the part that makes the rest possible. Gladiators eat well. This surprises people who have not thought about it. The ludus feeds its fighters with care, because a malnourished fighter is a dead fighter, and a dead fighter is a financial loss. The food is high in grain and legumes, dense with the kind of slow energy that sustains a body through extended physical effort. The trainers monitor what you eat and how much. This is not kindness, it is investment. You eat at the long table in the dining room with the other men who are fighting today. There are 4 of you in this afternoon's program. You eat without much conversation. The talking will come later. For now, there is the food and the business of eating it properly, slowly, giving the body time to take what it needs. The man across from you is from the south, darker-skinned, quiet, with quick eyes and the particular kind of watchfulness that comes from a difficult history. You have fought alongside him in the paired bouts twice. He is good. Better than the crowd knows, because he is the kind of fighter who does not show everything he has until he needs it. You respect this. He catches your eye across the table. A brief nod. You return it. The bread is fresh. The oil is good. Outside the dining room window, the city is already filling with the noise of people coming in for the games. You can hear it even here. The rising pitch of a crowd assembling. Voices layering over voices until they become a kind of weather. You eat slowly. You listen to that sound. You have heard it before every fight. It does not excite you the way it once did. Now it is simply information. They are coming. The arena will be full. The afternoon will happen. The crowd comes for blood and spectacle. You understand this without judgment. You have known from the beginning what this arrangement is. They provide the noise and the attention and the meaning. You provide the fight. This is the contract. You have kept your end of it 23 times. The arming room smells of metal and leather and the particular sharp scent of the oil used on the armor. You have been in this room many times. The armorers know you, know your measurements, know the exact adjustments your equipment requires. There is no conversation during the arming. This is understood. The arming is its own kind of ritual, and it asks for silence. The leg guards first. Bronze greaves fitted and strapped over the padding. You feel the familiar weight settle on your shins. The padding beneath is worn to the exact shape of your legs, 3 years of use having shaped it perfectly. The arm guard next. Your sword arm is bare, your shield arm protected. The manica, the segmented metal sleeve, runs from wrist to shoulder. You flex your arm as the armorers strap it. Good. No restriction. The belt. Wide leather, reinforced, worn low on the hips. This is the piece that holds the silhouette together, that signals to the crowd which type of fighter they are watching. You have worn this belt so many times it feels like a part of you now. The helmet last. The gallia, visored, plumed, designed to be seen from the back rows of the highest tier. The armorer lowers it onto your head and the world narrows. Through the visor, the arming room becomes a series of vertical bars, the faces of the armorers reduced to fragments. You breathe inside the helmet. The sound of your own breathing, close and contained. You pick up the shield. You pick up the sword. You are ready. There is a moment in the arming when you stop being the person who woke this morning and ate breakfast and trained in the courtyard. You become something else. Not less human. Something more concentrated. All the ordinary parts of you stepped back, and what remains is the part that knows how to do this. The tunnel runs beneath the arena from the barracks to the holding area under the stands. You have walked this tunnel many times. It is narrow and low-ceilinged, lit by torches set in the wall at intervals, and it smells of stone and old smoke, and the accumulated presence of all the men who have walked it before you. Some of them did not walk back. You walk it alone today. The paired fighters go together. Single bouts go alone. Your footsteps are loud in the stone corridor, the metal of your armor, occasionally catching the torchlight as you move. The noise of the crowd reaches you even down here, muffled by the stone and earth above. A low, continuous vibration more felt than heard. It comes up through the soles of your feet. The arena is full. You know this without seeing it. You can feel the weight of them above you. You stop at the iron gate at the end of the tunnel. Through the bars you can see the sand, bright in the afternoon sun, raked clean, still undisturbed. The oval of the arena beyond it, tier after tier of faces rising to the open sky. The noise that was a vibration in your feet is now a wall of sound breaking against the gate, washing over you. You look at the sand. You look at the sky above the far wall of the arena. You look at the mountain visible over the rim of the stands, its familiar shape in the afternoon light. You look at it for a moment longer than usual. Something about it. You cannot say what. A difference in its appearance, something at the summit. A faint pale smudge that might be cloud or might be something else. You file this away without deciding what it is. The gate is opening. The mountain has stood behind this city your entire time here. You have seen it every day. It is part of the landscape the way the sky is part of the landscape, present and unremarkable. You have never had a reason to look at it carefully. You look at it carefully now for one moment, and then the gate opens and the crowd takes the air out of the tunnel and there is no more time for mountains. The sound hits you like a physical thing. You walk out onto the sand, and the crowd rises. Not all at once, in a wave, section by section, as you come into view from different angles. The noise builds on itself, layer on layer, until it is something you move through, rather than simply hear. They know you. That is the thing about this arena, about this city. 3 years of winning has made you known here in a way that still surprises you sometimes. They chant your name. The sound of your name in thousands of mouths simultaneously is a strange and specific experience. You have never found a word for it. It is not pride exactly, not pleasure exactly. It is something more primitive, something that bypasses language and goes directly to the body. You walk to the center of the sand and stop. You look up at the stands, tier after tier of faces, the closest ones clear enough to read, the distant ones a blur of color and motion. A city watching you, a city that has made you its own. The editor of the games is in the box above the main entrance. A magistrate, fat and expensively dressed, enjoying his day. You meet his eye and he raises his hand. You raise your sword in return. The crowd surges. Your opponent enters from the far gate. He is big, bigger than you expected from the briefing your trainer gave this morning. From the north, like you, but further north, the cold countries, the kind of places that produce men who are broad through the chest and heavy in the shoulder. He carries a different style of armor than yours. Lighter, faster, designed for mobility rather than the protection you favor. He moves well. You watch him walk to the center, and you read him the way you read everything in an arena, looking for the thing that will matter. He stops a few feet from you. You look at each other. Neither of you speaks. There is nothing to say. Two men who have survived everything that has been put in front of them, standing in the sand of an arena, in a city neither of them chose, about to try to kill each other for the pleasure of people who chose neither of them. You have thought about this before. It does not change what you do, but you have thought about it. The signal sounds and he comes at you immediately. This tells you something. An immediate attack means either aggression or nerves. In a man this size, moving this smoothly, it is aggression. He leads with aggression. You file this away. You take the first exchange on your shield, feeling the weight of his strikes travel up your arm, reading the force of them. Strong, very strong. The force is not surprising given his size, but the control of it is. He is not simply hitting hard, he is placing his strikes precisely, probing for the angle that will get around the shield edge. You give ground. Deliberately, measuredly, keeping your feet under you. Giving ground is not retreat if you choose it. You let him set the pace he wants. Let him feel like he is pushing you. Let him commit to the momentum of pushing. His first mistake comes in the fourth exchange. He shifts his weight forward slightly more than he intends to, a fraction of a second, where his balance is ahead of his feet. You have been waiting for exactly this. You step inside his reach, past the point where his sword is effective, and deliver a short strike to his side with the edge of your shield. He staggers. 1 step, 2, recovers, but you have seen now. He is fast in recovery, but the recovery costs him something. He breathes harder after it. You circle. The crowd is loud. Somewhere in the roar you can pick out individual voices, the particular pitch of people who have money on this outcome. You circle, and you think, and you wait. Fighting is mostly thinking. The strikes are the smallest part of it. The real work is the reading, the waiting, the choosing of when and how. The man who panics and fills the space with motion will tire himself out. The man who is patient and selective will still have energy when the other man does not. You have always been the patient man. His sword finds your arm in the seventh exchange, not deep. A grazing cut along the outside of your right forearm, just below where the manica ends. The sting of it is immediate and sharp, the kind of pain that clarifies rather than distracts. You have been cut before. You know the difference between a cut that matters and a cut that does not. This one does not. But blood is blood, and blood visible to the crowd changes the sound of the crowd. The section nearest you rises at the sight of it. A different quality of noise, more urgent, more particular. They see the red on your arm, and they remember what this is. You do not look at the wound. You know it is there. You do not need to look. He knows he has drawn blood, and this changes something in him. A small loosening, a degree of relaxation. He believes he has scored something significant. This is his second mistake. You watch the loosening happen and you note it. You press forward for the first time in the fight. Not aggressively, not fast, steadily. You close the distance he prefers to keep, bringing the fight into the range where your shield work matters most and his reach advantage shrinks. He adjusts. He is good enough to adjust. But adjustment costs time, and during the adjustment, you land 2 strikes on his shield arm, solid impacts, the kind that accumulate. His arm is slowing, slightly, barely visible to the crowd, but you can feel it in the exchanges, the fractional delay in his shield coming up. The accumulation is working. You bleed. He tires. The arithmetic is in your favor. A fight is a conversation between 2 bodies. Each exchange is a question and an answer. You have been asking the same question in different forms since the fight began, and his body has been answering it in the same way each time. You know the answer now. You know what comes next. You bring him down in the 12th exchange. It is not dramatic. The best moments rarely are. You read the pattern of his breathing, the specific way his footwork degraded in the last 3 exchanges, the precise degree to which his shield arm had slowed, and you chose the moment with the same deliberateness. You choose everything. A feint to the left that drew his shield across his body, a half-step right that put you outside his sword arm, a single strike, precisely placed, to the back of his knee. He went down hard, the sand rising around him, his sword leaving his hand and landing a few feet away. You stand over him. He is face down on the sand, one hand beneath him, the other flat on the ground. He turns his head to look up at you. His face is open. Not afraid, not resigned, something more complicated. The face of a man who has lost and knows it and is arriving at whatever comes after that knowledge. You take a breath. You look down at him. The crowd is loud enough to feel in your chest. They have what they came for. A man down, a man standing, the ancient arithmetic of the arena. You look up at the box. The editor of the games is there, watching. Around him, his guests are watching. The crowd behind them is watching. 20,000 people, all of them looking at you, all of them waiting for you to look up and look at them, and receive from them the signal that tells you what to do next. 23 fights, and this is always the moment that feels most strange. Not the fighting, not the winning. This. Standing over a man, waiting for a crowd to tell you his life's value. The strangeness of it has not diminished. You think perhaps it never does. You think perhaps it should not. The editor looks at the crowd. This is the performance within the performance. He raises his hand. He turns his head slowly, taking in the crowd, letting them feel the weight of the moment, letting them feel that their opinion is being solicited, and their answer will matter. The crowd roars. The crowd turns thumbs. The crowd does what crowds do. He turns back to you. He extends his arm. His thumb turns down. Kill him. You look at the man on the sand. He is looking up at you. He has raised his left hand, palm outward, the traditional gesture of submission. He knows what the signal means. He is meeting it with the only dignity available to him. You raise your sword. The crowd holds its breath. This too is part of it. The held breath, the suspension before the final movement. You have been here before. You know the weight of this moment, the specific quality of 20,000 people holding the air in their lungs, waiting. You tighten your grip on the sword. You begin to bring it down. There is a gap between deciding and doing that lasts less than a second. In that gap, everything is still possible. The sword is raised. The man is below you. The crowd is holding its breath. For that fraction of a second, the world is in suspension, and you are the point around which it turns. The sword begins to descend. Your eyes are on the man. His eyes are on you. The earth opens, not slowly, not with warning, all at once. The sand beneath your feet rolls like water. A wave moving through solid ground, and the sound of it comes from everywhere simultaneously, from below and above and from inside your own chest. You stagger. One step, two, your arms going wide for balance, the sword still in your hand. The man on the ground rolls away from you. He does not run. He rolls, gets to one knee, looks up. You look at the stands. The crowd is on its feet, but not as a crowd anymore. As individuals. Thousands of individual people all reacting at once, all reaching for each other or for the stone railings, all looking at the same thing you are looking at. The mountain. You look at the mountain. What was the pale smudge you noticed at the summit when you came out of the tunnel is now something else entirely. Something that has no name in the ordinary vocabulary of things. A column of material, black and gray, rising from where the peak was, rising with a speed that seems impossible for something so large, spreading as it rises, filling the upper sky with a darkness that is not cloud. The second tremor comes harder than the first. Around the stands you can hear the stone, the particular sound of stone under stress. A low groan that runs through the structure of the arena. People are screaming, people are running. The sand under your feet is still moving, a slow continuous motion, as if something beneath it is breathing. You stand in the center of the arena and watch the mountain. You have spent 3 years in this city learning to read an opponent, to see what is coming before it arrives, to prepare for the moment of impact. Nothing in those 3 years prepared you for this. Nothing prepares anyone for this. There is no training for the ground becoming water. The crowd leaves the way. Water leaves a broken vessel. All at once, in every direction, through every exit. The noise changes from the roar of an audience to something raw, older. The sound of many people understanding simultaneously that they are in danger. The upper tiers empty first, then the lower. People streaming down the stairs and through the archways into the streets. You are still standing on the sand. The man you were fighting is beside you now, not facing you, facing the mountain. You are both looking at the same thing, both still holding your weapons out of simple habit, because when you have held a weapon through a crisis, before the hand does not easily let go, he says something in his language, which is not your language. You do not understand the words, but the tone is recognizable, the tone of someone naming what they are seeing, because naming it is the only thing left to do. The first stones begin to fall. Small at first, pumice, bouncing on the sand around you. The sand is still moving beneath your feet, not violently, now but continuously. A low tremor that has not stopped since the first one. You look at the exits. People are still clearing them, a steady stream. The tunnel you came through is to your left, partially obscured by the dust and the falling material. It leads back to the barracks. You look at the man beside you. He is looking at you. He is still your opponent, technically. The fight has not been formally concluded. No signal was given. No outcome was declared. The bout is, in the strict language of the arena, still in progress. You look at the mountain. You look at the exits. You look at him. There are moments when the rules that organize a world simply stop applying. Not because anyone decides this, because the world has changed around them faster than the rules can follow. The arena still exists, the crowd is gone, the fight is technically still happening, and none of this means anything at all. You lower your sword. He watches you do it. Then he lowers his. No words. There are no words for this. You both look at the mountain, which is continuing to grow, the columns spreading wider and darker, and then you both look at the exits, which are nearly clear now. The last of the crowd. Gone. He moves first, toward the far exit, the one he came in through, the one that leads toward the northern end of the city. He takes 3 steps and then stops and looks back at you. It is not an invitation. It is a question. Or perhaps not even that. Perhaps it is simply the instinct of a man who has just fought another man for 20 minutes, who knows that man's body and reflexes and capabilities better than most people know their closest friends, looking back one final time before separating. You look at him. You nod. He turns and walks through the exit. The arch swallows him. He is gone. You stand alone on the sand of the arena. The pumice is falling steadily now, small stones accumulating on the sand around you, a layer of gray over the raked surface. The stands are empty. The editor's box is empty. The sky above the open arena is wrong. The color and the light both wrong, and the column from the mountain fills a quarter of it. Your arm is still bleeding. You had forgotten about that. 23 fights. A city that knew your name. An arena that held 20,000 people an hour ago and is now empty except for you and the falling ash. The world that organized itself around fighting in crowds and the arithmetic of survival in an arena has dissolved. What remains is simpler. A man, a sword, a direction to walk. You walk to the tunnel. The entrance is partly blocked by debris, a section of the upper stonework that has come down in one of the tremors. But the gap is wide enough. You go through sideways, the shield scraping the stone, and you are in the tunnel again. It is darker than when you walked it this morning. One of the torches has gone out. The other 2 are still burning, throwing long shadows that move as the air moves. The stone walls are dusty, fine cracks visible in the mortar that were not there before. You walk quickly. The tunnel comes out into the barracks compound. The compound is in motion. Men and trainers and armorers moving in every direction, some with purpose and some without. You see your trainer near the gate. He is organizing something, directing people, his voice loud and steady. He has the quality of a man who keeps his head in a crisis. You have always respected this about him. He sees you. He takes in the blood on your arm, the armor still on, the empty expression that comes after a fight. He does not ask how the bout went. North Gate, he says. The harbor road. Go now. You look at him. Go, he says again. You go. 3 years ago, you arrived in this city as a prisoner. You leave it as something that does not have a clean name yet. Not free, not exactly. Not in the formal sense that requires documents and witnesses and the law. But walking out through a gate with no one stopping you is a kind of freedom, even if it is only the freedom that a catastrophe extends to everyone equally. The streets of Pompeii are loud and moving. You walk through them still in your armor, which marks you immediately, draws looks, creates a space around you in the crowd, the way armor always does. People see the helmet, the greaves, the blood on your arm, and they step aside. You do not use this advantage aggressively. You simply walk steadily and the crowd accommodates you. You pass the forum. The columns are still standing, but the square is empty. The market stalls abandoned, goods left on the ground where they were dropped. A cat sits on the edge of a fountain that has stopped running, watching the chaos with a stillness that strikes you as almost funny. You pass the bakery on the street near the forum. The door is open, the smell of bread coming from inside, the fire still burning. Someone left in the middle of making bread. The morning's work still in the oven. You think briefly about stopping, about eating before the road. You keep walking. At the northern edge of the city, the road opens up and the crowd thins slightly, people spreading as the street becomes a road, becomes a route towards somewhere else. The ash is falling heavier now. You remove your helmet and hold it under your arm. You look up at the mountain. It is enormous. You cannot see the peak anymore, only the base of the column, still rising, still spreading. The air smells of something you have no name for, sharp and mineral and wrong. You put the helmet back on. You walk north. Somewhere behind you in the arena, the sand is accumulating a gray layer over the marks of the fight. Your footprints and his, the places where you circled and pressed and fell and rose, being slowly covered and smoothed and erased, as if the fight never happened. It happened. You carry the evidence of it on your arm. You carry other things too, things that have no weight and no name. 3 years of mornings in a training ground. The sound of a crowd saying your name. The face of the man on the sand looking up at you in the moment before the ground moved. You carry all of it. You walk north. The mountain burns behind you and the road is long and you do not yet know where it goes. 23 fights, 1 mountain, 1 moment when the world stopped and you had a sword in your hand and a man beneath you and the crowd holding its breath. And then the ground moved and none of it was the right question anymore. The question that remained was simpler. The question that always remains. Which direction? How far? What next? You walked, the ash fell, the road continued, and somewhere ahead, past the edge of the city and the reach of the smoke, the world was still ordinary, still intact, still waiting, a note on history. The gladiatorial barracks in Pompeii, the Quadriportico dei Teatri, was excavated in the 18th century. Archaeologists found the remains of gladiators inside, along with their equipment. 18 people died in the barracks during the eruption. Their remains were found in the rooms and corridors where they sheltered. Gladiatorial fights in Pompeii were well documented. Graffiti on the city's walls recorded outcomes, described fighters, and noted crowd favorites. Some gladiators fought many times and survived to become celebrated figures. Others did not. The amphitheater of Pompeii, built around 70 BC, is one of the oldest surviving stone amphitheaters in the Roman world. It held approximately 20,000 spectators. On August 24, 79 AD, games were scheduled. Whether they took place before the eruption began is not known. What happened to the gladiators who were in Pompeii that day and escaped is not recorded. Roman law gave gladiators a specific legal status that was neither free nor fully enslaved. In the chaos following the eruption, the enforcement of that status would have been difficult. The sand of the arena was covered by the same ash that covered everything else. It is still there underneath, still holding the shape of what happened on it. Good night.